What is going on, guys? I'm back up here. How y'all doing? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and we are here live now to catch up on this week's episode of AEW Dynamite. Following this, in a brief dinner break, I will also review SmackDown to catch up on those shows as well. If you did not get to already, guys, be sure to check out my NXT TakeOver 31 preview and predictions. And I have two turtlers too after this tonight, so that was that. So we are here live for my live review again of AEW Dynamite from the September 30th edition 2020 of Dynamite, where, of course, today is the 1 year anniversary, October 2nd, of the first ever episode. Yesterday was the 1 year anniversary of AEW Dynamite. The first ever episode of Dynamite, of course, that took place, with the debut match of Cody Rhodes and the sexy Spanish god, Sammy Guevara. But this episode took place once again on September 30th, 2020, at Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. Again, this week I chose to watch Dynamite second because of the pay-per-view this week. Of course, that all backfired because I didn't get to my predictions until today because I have just been miserable the past couple days, and I was tired also last night because I really fell asleep during the main event, so I had to watch the main event again before I did this review, which, I'll be honest, didn't really have to. But overall, this was still a good show. Interesting, wasn't great, but I thought it was a good show to continue building forward towards Full Gear and some big matches in the upcoming weeks. Of course, as of now, we're still doing the anniversary show on the 14th, and the match right now is still scheduled to be Jon Moxley versus Lance Archer for the AEW World Title. So as Lance Archer is feeling better after being diagnosed with the virus very recently. There's other stuff coming up as we're starting to set the stage and get ready for Full Gear, which is about a month away on November 7th. So, with that being said, again, we will roll into talking about this show and see what we got. So, live chat first before we go up there. Let me see here. What's up, Elite Squad? Saying boring main event. To be honest, I'll be real. Yeah, that main event, the hype for it kind of like hit a little bit like a wet fart to me, who it ended up being again. I think that the problem is again, this is just something to fill time before Lance Archer gets back, and they haven't really had too much to do. I mean, I kind of like how they're trying to use Eddie Kingston to get the momentum rolling for him, but as far as who they picked for that main event, for Mox's opponent, main event, I was like, whatever. Wasn't anything too special. Cody versus Brody next week in the dog collar match, which should be interesting. What's up, Tyler? Saying, when is Jericho getting his rematch? I still wonder that. I still don't know why Jericho, Le Champion, is not trying to get his rematch for the AEW World Championship. I do agree on that. Also, I don't agree with how MJF is seemingly just letting this thing go as to Jon Moxley using the paradigm shift, and just, bypassing it. But then again, he has a case to make for another title match. So, if anything, with what's going on now with Jericho and Moxley, and with Jericho and MJF, what about a triple threat match with Moxley, Jericho, MJF? Because as of now, I have no clue who Moxley's going to be facing. Well, if he does retain against Lance Archer, who he's going to face at Full Gear. I don't know. I really do not know. But we have that. Let me see here. Tyler, well, first said Hobbs versus Cage next week for the FTW title. Yes, we do have that title match next week. Tyler gave this show a B. Elite Squad says AEW and SmackDown are both tied for the best weekly wrestling shows right now. NXT and Raw suck. I wouldn't say NXT sucks, but again, as I'm saying, NXT is just not as strong as it used to be. SmackDown, I don't really think okay. The only thing that's making SmackDown watchable for me right now, like completely for sure, even though there's some things that's like itching at me a little bit with SmackDown, the only thing that's really, making me want to watch SmackDown every single week is the Tribal Chief himself, Roman Reigns. But I agree, AEW is definitely the best one for sure. He gave AEW a C+ this week. What's up, J.R. Campbell, saying he's only here to watch or hear you talk about a few matches that he liked. Awesome. And Raw sucks. Yes, it does. Especially the September 21st episode. That one sucked. That sucked so bad. Anyways, let's roll into the show of Dynamite and give it and talk about it, see what we got here. So we opened up with the long anticipated match of Darby Allin versus Ricky Starks. That was a good match. Thought these two had very good chemistry, worked very well together, had some good close near falls throughout the match. Starks had hit a spear that almost put Darby away towards the end until Darby had knocked him off of the top rope. He does a coffin drop onto Starks to get the victory. Kind of hope these guys have a rematch. I feel like they could maybe add like no holds barred street fight. I think that would kind of really fit them, just to kind of amp it up a little bit. Without any weapons or anything, this was still good. But I feel like they could put on an even bigger match, to kind of like give Ricky Starks some more stock in him. I'd say if they did like a street fight or something like that. Hey, if they wanted to do that, I don't know if they're ever going to do Ricky Starks. Darby Allin versus Brian Cage, which I thought we were going to get for All Out. I'd be for them still doing a match between Darby Allin and Brian Cage, but again, they could still do Ricky Starks and Darby Allin like a street fight. I'd be interested in seeing that for a rematch. I'd like that, but yeah, good opener for sure. Again, I definitely see a lot of potential in Ricky Starks for sure, as he's still kind of new to me. And again, Darby Allin, again, he's awesome the way it is. Well, I'm not saying there was ever a mid-card title, but again, there is a mid-card title. I still say at some point, maybe consider putting the TNT title on Ricky Starks. We have Ricky Starks, but especially Darby Allin. If they want to make Darby Allin the one to dethrone Brody Lee, go right for it, I'd say. But we'll see where they go. So Darby Allin wins that match, and of course, even Taz admits it was a good match, although he's not happy that his boy Ricky Starks lost the match. Then we have this promo with Cody Rhodes. He mentions how Al Snow told him, "You always wrestle hurt, but you never wrestle injured." He offers a retort. What if the injury transcends the physical and it's your spirit that's broken? Pre-pandemic, wrestlers all shook hands ad nauseum, and that's incorrectly chalked up as respect. But that's not why they shake hands. They do that because they need each other. The marquee has two names on it. You versus someone else. So imagine his shame when he lost the TNT Championship in 3 minutes. He called from Hollywood right after, and he jumped on it, and found himself sitting next to Rosario Dawson and Snoop Dogg and Jennifer Nettles. And who the hell is he? He's the guy who got beat in 3 minutes. So he's embarrassed about that. His feet and his ears are planted firmly in the ground. He hears all the standard pro wrestling promos, being the future, being the ace, but the ship has sailed, and he'd like to say it's him, but it can only belong to one of 3 people. Hikaru Shida, Jon Moxley, and Brody Lee, the champions of AEW. Obviously saying that, he's not on top of it anymore, anymore, unfortunately. But of course, he then addressed the elephant in the room. Brody Lee's challenge for a dog collar match. His answer is no, which are like, wow, is he afraid to, all of a sudden be afraid to, lose again in 3 minutes or something? As he's leaving the ring, he turns around and comes back, and he says that actually is no regrets, and I accept the dog collar match for next week. Which then brings Brody Lee storming out, and they begin to brawl. But then, everyone just goes out to try to break it up. Men from the roster, Dark Order as well, they all just are brawling apart, pulling it apart, but still, causes a big, chaotic brawl after, again, Cody Rhodes obviously feels like he has a lot to prove, being knocked back down to the bottom again, losing the TNT Championship in 3 minutes to Brody Lee, as he did like almost 2 months ago, I think it was. But as that brawl was happening, Brandy Rhodes came out, and she literally took out all the guys with the raspberry flop, whatever it is, over the top rope, take everybody out. Until Anna Jay, sexy Anna Jay, comes out and starts brawling with her as well. The women get out to try to break up those two. All the men are trying to break out Lee and Rhodes. Got a pretty chaotic brawl, but I thought it was pretty cool. So obviously, just running the emotions down again about just how much Cody Rhodes feels he has something to prove and how embarrassed he is, being a leader of this company. Yeah, he drops the TNT Championship in 3 minutes, just really shaking up and rocking up his confidence for sure. So in this dog collar match, he obviously has a lot to prove, as he claims. So we're going to get that match next week as Cody Rhodes accepted the challenge. So we'll see what happens next week with that match. So that should be good. Backstage, we have FTR interviewed. They talk about the tag team division. They ran down the teams, but they're putting SCU over as worthy contenders. And then rolls up Matt Jackson, who super kicks Tony Schiavone, and he's like, I'm sorry. Well, he just asking FTR who want to face at Full Gear. Of course, they mentioned the Young Bucks, but again, it's like they want to avoid talking about the Young Bucks. But of course, Matt Jackson does a super kick on Tony Schiavone, and he's like, "I'm sorry, did I interrupt?" And then he asks FTR, "Why didn't you go after us?" And then it leaves, and FTR then SCU's interview saying FTR may be playing checkers, but they're playing chess, and they're going to be 2-time champs. And of course, Sean Spears wishes them luck, who is also a client of Tully Blanchard, who's also a client with FTR, of course. So I don't know what the elevator room was happening there, or what's going on with Sean Spears, and I keep hoping they actually start getting something more for Sean Spears to do after the embarrassment they had of him with that match he had at with Dustin Rhodes, whatever the heck they did at Double or Nothing. I thought that was stupid with them that they did. They kind of embarrassed Spears. I thought that was really stupid of them. I thought, so yeah, we have that again. We're still obviously teasing, hopefully still getting FTR and the Young Bucks, even though they both aren't in the heels right now, so I don't quite get that. But we have the match FTR and SCU for the tag titles in a 20-minute match. Another pretty good match. Leads to FTR getting the win. Hitting a crossbody from Cash Wheeler onto Scorpio Sky, so it should be good. We then announced that we're going to be having an 8-man tournament to crown the number 1 contender for the AEW World Championship, which is probably going to be the person who faces either Moxley or Archer at Full Gear. So far in that match in the tournament is going to be Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, Rey Fenix, and Kenny Omega. The first 3 that are announced. Hangman Adam Page was apparently on commentary, but he stormed off to the news that Kenny Omega had accepted the challenge. Obviously, it just hurt that Kenny's not even thinking about him. So we're still teasing a match between Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega, and I'm waiting for Kenny Omega to fully turn heel. So again, obviously, it's starting to really get to Adam Page that once again his tag team partner has abandoned him. So you have tag teams. We have Chris Jericho taking on Isaiah Cassidy. Fun match. Thought it was good. Jericho definitely made Cassidy look pretty strong as well. Jericho wins the Juice Effect. But afterwards, they hit the ring, their inner circle, beat up Isaiah Cassidy. But then out comes Mark Quinn and Matt Hardy to save them. And Jericho gets back into it with Luther, while Hager beats Serpent Chaos Theory, they were beaten down for some reason after the match. Not sure why, but obviously they didn't. They were just not going to be one upped, as it were. So a good match there. We get a segment with Miro and Kip Sabian talking about how epic Kip's bachelor party is going to be, and disgraced world video game champion Billy Mitchell makes an appearance, promising to help Miro make it great. Of course, again, probably just take some shots at again WWE, now trying to take over everyone's Twitch accounts. So thank goodness it didn't happen to Miro for sure, because he's the best. I'm the best. I'm the best. I'm the best man. You're the best man, Miro. You are the best man. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna just glad Miro's actually there and actually can get booked right. We're gonna see him become a big star for sure in AEW. Best friends are then interviewed backstage. And FTR come around and tell them they're mid-card comedy guys who will never be on their level. So I guess best friends are next for the World Tag Title shot before we get to Full Gear. Hopefully FTR and the Young Bucks. Please, FTR and the Young Bucks at Full Gear. Orange Cassidy takes on 10 of the Dark Order, and he wins. Cool. Afterwards, though, my favorite part of this show was this backstage segment. MJF and Wardlow, which again, I'm continuing to say this also. We're getting back to say at the beginning of this review, as Tyler mentioned it, about Jericho not getting his rematch. Again, I'm still surprised that Jericho is not trying to get his rematch against Moxley. Again, why isn't MJF still trying to... So, again, this seems out of character for MJF. Why isn't he pleading to be getting a rematch for the AEW World Championship? Because Moxley used a move that was signed off to be banned from this match. I mean, I get it, MJF cheated, so Moxley cheated in return also, of course, when the referee wasn't looking, but I still say that, again, MJF should be pleading for another case for another match. It would make sense to me, because that's how, it kind of, I don't know, just kind of disappoints me a little bit with MJF, that he's not pleading for another match because of that. But, anyway, so, MJF and Wardlow go into the Inner Circle's locker room, and brings in gifts to celebrate Jericho's big win tonight over Isaiah Cassidy. MJF opens up the box and hands out jackets to Jake Hager, Santana and Ortiz, and Jericho, but there's nothing for Sammy Guevara. Which, of course, MJF's like, Wardlow, what the heck happened? And Wardlow says it wasn't there when he packed the box. So then MJF's like, I swear on my mother's life that it wasn't intentional, but Sammy grills him, but says, well, anyways, though, what's going on here? So, of course, Jericho cuts him off, and he's like, whoa, I'll take care of this. I'll take care of this over here. He goes, what's going on, Max? Basically, he's basically just, like, repeating what each other says. He first then thanks MJF, though, for the jackets, but straight up says, do you want to join the Inner Circle? And, they started going back and forth, repeating themselves, and then Max is like, do you want me to join the Inner Circle? And then, and Jericho, they go back and forth saying, do you want to join the Inner Circle? Do you want me to join the Inner Circle? Going back and forth about that. Just making it, realistic. They're trying to, bounce it around. Maybe MJF does want to join the Inner Circle, but Chris Jericho wants him to as well, but they're just not getting to the point of it, but they're making it hilarious. So they're going back and forth about it. And they end up commenting themselves on how classy they are. MJF also mentions he's excited for next week's celebration of Chris Jericho's 30th year in the business. And they say goodbye. And as MJF and Wardlow leave, Guevara calls MJF a loser, but Jericho waves him off and says no. Maybe he's not a loser. So, next week we're getting the celebration of 30 years of Jericho, man. Which I don't know. I may go all goofy and whatnot for that. I don't know. Maybe we'll have some type of festival of friendship segment. Knowing Jericho with this 30 years of Jericho celebration, he's probably gonna pull something off with some type of segment similar to the festival of friendship. Maybe that's gonna lead to things heating up a little bit more, because obviously they're and I hope that they do. They're teasing a match between Chris Jericho and MJF. Which I think would work, because these guys are just too good at both their roles. Just making themselves and have a feud over this. Or as I said too, if you want to lead to a triple threat match with with Moxley, MJF, and Jericho. Fine there. Again, MJF has a reason for a rematch, and Jericho again never got his rematch. So why not? But yeah. Do you want to join the Inner Circle? Do you want me to join the Inner Circle? Do you want to join the Inner Circle? Do you want me to join the Inner Circle? Going back and forth about it again. Those guys are just great. And then we've got Dr. Britt Baker, D.M.D, returning to the ring. Of course, she was in that match with Big Swole at All Out. That tooth and nail match, or I think they called it at All Out. This is Britt's first match on Dynamite since the night she suffered her knee injury, her leg injury, right before what's it called? Double or Nothing. She's supposed to have a match with Chris Statlander. So it looks like she looks good. She had a match with Red Velvet. No, she looked good today, I thought. Of course, it was just against this an extra, but I thought she looked good. And after the match, though, she putting the lockjaw on Red Velvet. Of course, she had put a glove on to do it as well. So, obviously, being a dentist, I put the gear on. But next week, we're going to get they're hyped up that we're going to get Inner Circle's Chris Jericho and Jake Hager taking on Chaos Project. And then Brian Cage is going to defend the FTW title against Will Hobbs next week, who also got involved. Forgot to mention this. Will Hobbs got involved in the match with Ricky Starks and Darby Allin. And then, of course, the dog collar match for the TNT Championship. Then we have Eddie Kingston, who with that bandana on, he looks like The Undertaker. He comes out, and he is handpicked an opponent for Jon Moxley. He gets referee Bryce Remsburg, who was the referee in this TNT Championship, his AEW title match in last week. He says, let's break things down for the simple-minded idiots that didn't watch last week. Moxley put him in a bulldog choke, and he didn't tap out. He went to Tony Khan and offered a title shot against a man of Kingston's choice. But Eddie wasn't going to take it, so he's got another man in mind. He wants to talk to Bryce first, the referee. He says he never tapped out, he never said I quit, so what gave him the right and the balls to ring the bell? Bryce says that Eddie was unresponsive. They've known each other for 18 years, but when they're in the ring, it's professional. And when you're in a world title match on national television, it's his job to protect Kingston from himself. And Eddie's like, I get it. The Lucha Brothers are lining up as they're going to take Bryce out, and they're getting ready to basically attack him for sure. But then out came right out Jon Moxley from the crowd with a barbed wire bat in hand. And Eddie and the Lucha Bros clear the ring, and he demands the music to get cut. Says Moxley to relax. It ain't me fighting him. You're fighting the Butcher. So Jon Moxley takes on the Butcher for the AEW World Title, and I don't know. I didn't really care. It's just like you hyped this up just for the Butcher. Like, not just decent. Moxley got the Butcher to tap out to his bulldog lock, or he's calling it the Saka Otashi, whatever heck he's calling that his maneuver right now. So I guess Moxley is using a submission more, as he's used a couple of times in his matches. So he gets the Butcher to tap out, and afterwards Eddie and his boys are furious. So again, I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of the main event. I think they did this to fill time while what's his face? Lance Archer's recovering from his sickness. So they really didn't have anything else for Moxley to do in the meantime. So I guess they're kind of just trying to give Eddie Kingston some work to do and see what he does. So it's one of the things where it's like I can accept, I understand what they're trying to do with it, but again, why didn't they throw in the Butcher? Why didn't they give him Ray Phoenix or Pentagon Jr. or wherever they're calling Pentagon Jr. Whatever his new name is? Could have had a match with one of those guys, but he didn't. But that was Dynamite, guys. Let's check the Twitter post first before I check the live chat. So 9 votes on this show for Dynamite. What grade would you give it? 9 votes. 44.4% said A. 55.6% said B. Nobody said anything lower. I'll give the show a B. It was good. It was fun, but But, again, it wasn't the greatest one, but it had some interesting stuff on it for sure. Again, especially the stuff with MJF and the Inner Circle. I like that segment. But let's check the last before we go off the air. JR says, I would like to see Jericho and MJF. Would you love to see Jericho as a babyface? You know he's getting older, so you know that would be, I think, that's the way it should be. And he should be a babyface on his last years in AEW, and then win the world title for the last time in his career, and then, retire after he loses it. If you want to go with that, yeah. Like I said, Jericho is the type of guy who, he can make being a heel or a babyface work. But I feel like he has to develop a heel character first before making it into a babyface character. That's how I think it's always worked for Jericho, in my opinion. So if they want to make him the babyface, though, in a feud with MJF, fine. They can do that. Again, I don't know how many more years Jericho has left as a wrestler, who knows, but either way, I know he's going to make the best out of it for sure, as he always does. But yes, I definitely hope we do see, if not a triple threat, we do see a match with Chris Jericho and MJF at Full Gear. Miro is a beast. He's way better in AEW than he is WWE. Heck yes, he is. And also, Tyler mentioned how he thinks AJ deserves better, of course. We all know you love AJ. Anyways, but guys, that's going to do it for this live review of AEW. Let me take a little dinner break. I'll come back up here and review SmackDown. I'll also have 2 turn alerts to do for tonight. Again, tomorrow, I'm good. My friend I usually watch wrestling with now, we watch a takeover from tomorrow night. He lives about 45 minutes to an hour away from me now. He moved to a different place. So, if I am able to get home in time to do a live review tomorrow for Takeover 31, I'll do it tomorrow. If not, I will do it on Monday after work. So that's the plan going forward. Maybe I'll do some video game stuff tonight. So, who knows? But we'll see what happens. So, guys, once again, what are your thoughts on AEW Dynamite? Gave the beat. Leave your thoughts down in the comments section below. Slap a like on the video. Subscribe or comment to my channel. Follow me on Twitter at DeMayor93. I'll be back up here again shortly for my live review of SmackDown. Talking about last night's edition, it will be all caught up with wrestling. Well, besides the 2 tournaments we'll do after this. So, that's going to do it, guys. I'm checking out. Have a good night. I will see you all soon, guys. Peace out, everybody.